Hello, my name is Christopher, I'm from New Zealand, and this is my town. I've decided to upload this video to A, share with everyone, B, fish for ideas, and C, preserve a record of it. I've found that every time I build something to the point where I'm quite satisfied, either the server will go down, it will crash and corrupt, or an update will be released that will break everything. In any case, as you can see, it's a medieval kind of style with half-timbered buildings everywhere. It's not just taken from an English half-timbered style, but also from other places like Strasbourg in France, where you can find buildings that have cyan, light blue, orange, even pink, though I have chosen not to build any pink buildings. Let's have a look around town. This will just be me wandering around really for half an hour. I've chosen not to have any background music. I'll cut away if it starts raining because it's kind of annoying. So this is the town centre, an overly phallic clock tower, interesting stalls. The little bits flashing up on the screen are from server messages or the Townie mod, which the server has instituted. Sometimes it's useful in terms of land protection, but because there are so few people on the server, it's really just a hindrance for my expansion. So this is the first building, really, that I built in town, which is my tavern. If you go inside, there's bar stools, tables, a few couches made of wood. These could probably be redone with the pressure plate on top of fence post type thing. Upstairs are 4 inn rooms, but down here is something good. I don't think I've ever seen anyone else build a wine rack. So this is 2 lapis lazuli blocks inside of a grid of wooden staircases, and it kind of looks the part as much as you can in Minecraft. And then I've got beer and ale in giant barrels. I've actually built this building before. I've been building this town for about 4 months since I got back from a 6-month overseas trip, which included places like Strasbourg in England, where some of the inspiration came from. But yeah, this time it's more complete. So this one here is the masterwork, scribes and copyists. Unfortunately, I can only think up so many things to put on the inside of buildings, usually chairs, tables, bookshelves. So I mean, this is a scribe and copyists, legal work, that kind of rubbish. So there's bookshelves, lots of chairs, makes it seem busy, even though there's only me. But for the most part, these buildings are pretty empty. Like, I've decided this one is a barber's, but all I've got are these poles and a few chairs, lighting, a chimp. Oh shit. And Enderman griefing. Since the server was only updated to 1.8 recently, there has not been anything stuck on to deal with the Endermen, who have currently free reign to take my town apart piece by piece. So forgive me if during this brief tour I have to fix things. So this is a small tranquil town park. Forgive me for the torch spam, but it's necessary. These large trees took a surprising amount of time to get to generate, even using bone meal. This is the town hall. So, again, not much on the interior. It certainly looks the part, but yeah. Upstairs is the custodians. I guess people could spy on whatever proceedings are going on from up there. and it has a little plaza in front of it with a fountain that's been trained to flow as so, rather than spew out all over everything. If I was to say use the magic carpet mod, it would break the fountain if I got close enough to it, and water would go everywhere. So this is a work in progress, so the town kind of abruptly ends in a few places like this. I suppose I'll build like another 3 buildings to finish this off on this side. This one here is quite complete. It's the butchery. So storefront, and the defining feature, an a snow room built into the hillside, completely filled with pork. That reminds me, I should probably go get some beef and chicken as well to stick in there, since that's available now in 1.8. As you may have guessed, getting all these wool blocks took an awfully long amount of time. In 1.8, I mean, the mob spawning is much higher, but for 1.6, 1.7, when most of the building took place, not so much. So I'd have to shear sheep, brutally murder them to encourage new ones to spawn, and actually just murder everything. So all the pork ended up at the butchery, the feathers and leather end up over here at the Adventurers Guild. So Fletcher's, that's where the feathers go, arms, saddler and leatherworker, armour. So go over to the saddlers, unsurprisingly, piles of saddles. And kind of like any RPG or store, different grades of everything. Same for the swords. Obviously far more in the way of iron swords than anything else. Upstairs is a small sort of guild meeting room, so while on the ground floor you have the different portions of the guild, upstairs it's combined into one building. This is the mayor's house, my house, the only one with a post box. Unfortunately nobody sends me mail. It's a very housey house. So windows, a door, brick, there's even a chimney with smoke coming out of it back there. It's kind of like what you would imagine if somebody said, draw me a house, and they were 4. So, spare bedroom, living room. Well, I guess it's now the haunted mayor's house. Bathroom, bath, shower, toilet, a single 1 by 1 by 1 meter block. Kitchen, that's meant to be... okay. Fuck. Right. Upstairs is the master bedroom. Unfortunately, just like everything else, kind of sparse, but, you know, 4-poster bed. And this is original as far as I know. Never seen anyone else do this. It's a suit rack. Upstairs there's not much in the way of anything else other than more chests. Right, onto the outer edge of the town. I'll just go over here this way since this is a bit faster. This is where I've been building recently. I'm thinking to close off this part of the town. I'll build a second kind of market area for cakes, melons, pumpkins, that kind of stuff. Maybe a building with arches leading into a interior store with lots of little stalls or something. This building here is pretty complete. It's a bakery, so it's got a fireproof brick underside, storefronts. Then it's got a couple of ovens. These are wood-fired, stoked from the rear by log fires. Unfortunately, again, Even though I'm a mod, I cannot light any fire whatsoever. For some reason I have put black wool coming out of the top, so I guess they're burning everything today. As you may have guessed, this pine forest has provided a lot of the material for the buildings. I've kind of, to give a sense that some buildings are older than others, I've used the oak, the normal wood on some of them, and the pine, which looks kind of like it's newer or freshly treated for other buildings. This was originally just planted for my convenience, but then I decided it would stay there. I built this relatively recently. It's a sawmill, though also a steam mill. So you've got a circular saw here, if you can imagine that rotating. Finished piles of timber, logs waiting to be processed, and there you go, one going into it. Just over here. It looks a bit rubbish, but you light that on fire. Inside here is water, goes through some pipes like this, pushes the pedals on the revolving log, and steam would come out there if you use your imagination. Right, one last building. I hate it when it does that. On this part of town, before I get into the rural area. Taking away F key was a terrible idea, because now I have to press F3 and F, and then F3 again, which is grossly inefficient. This building here is the apothecary, so in the hills, outskirts of town, who knows what this guy gets up to. Again, just for the little details, black smoke coming out of the chimney, instead of the usual grey. So the chests are filled with dyes and powders like, you know, redstone, the glowstone, that kind of stuff. Over here is a mushroom farm built into the hillside. Very small one. Right, onwards. Hasn't started raining yet, so that's good. This is one of the few pieces of fortification in the town. It's the town gate. It looks good, though I should probably replace those with iron bars at some point. Otherwise it looks a bit flimsy. Piss off. Yeah. So you've got your trapdoors here to pour boiling milk on people. Lava. Something. And if we have a look from up here, something again built recently. It's my vanity statue. If you think about, like, that canal there leads over to the largest sea in the area, though nothing compared to the seas that generate in 1.9 and 1.8 now. You'd come in here, disembark, and you'd see the statue of the founder. Me. 5 points if you know who this is. Unfortunately, there's not enough space to put my other Minecraft skin in, which is Alex from Golden Sun. That cliff's tall enough, but it's not wide enough, so it'd have to be in higher relief or almost three-dimensional. Like, I can't put one of these statues in town square because they're just too damn tall, building them one-to-one in terms of pixels. So this is my dock house. Lots of little docks. Shipments of iron and gold and other such things coming in. And this is the farm. So massive quantities of wheat. So if you again use your imagination, the rain falls on the hills, goes and collects in these big brick cisterns, and then goes through a series of drains to hydrate everything. So, you know, it comes out of that one, into there, there, and then everything drains into the lake. Or the inlet. Unfortunately, I have not covered all the hills in fence posts, so mobs do get onto it and trash the crops, which is unfortunate. So this is the farmstead, somehow taking on what looks like some sort of Norse-Dutch hybrid style. These pastures, once we get the, what do you call them, persistent mobs, this will be all the cows, pigs, sheep, etc., chickens are kept. If there were horses, there's a trough. The windmills are 100% complete, and I quite like them, so I've built 4 of them on the hills around here. If you think about it, if you can imagine that turning again, like that would turn a cog up there, which would turn this one, and there's your grindstone. So, pretend the crafting grid doesn't exist and you need to do everything in a more elaborate manner. This is new. It's my efficient melon field, so 1 block in the middle and then 4 by 8. Except for one spot where I accidentally did 3 and I can't be bothered fixing it. This would be where the pumpkins would go, assuming I could ever find a pumpkin seed. I mean, I know the pumpkins will be, you can break them down into 4 seeds in 1.9, but 1.9 is not out yet. I have traversed a great many abandoned mine shafts, but unfortunately either I generated them in 1.8.1, or there just weren't any pumpkin seeds anyway. For the last piece of the rural landscape, it's just up the back. I'm thinking also of somewhere in these hills building an observatory, possibly behind the apothecary, but the problem is observatories are slightly out from the time period in terms of style, so I can't say build William Hegel's or something. I mean, that might look the part, but yeah. So, massive vineyard. So, again, imagination. There's a vineyard. I need to build a small place with a wine press around here somewhere, and then it all ends up bottled at the tavern. Unfortunately, due to biome changes, these used to be that kind of forest green. Now they're not, which is very annoying. But I can live with it. So, got a bit carried away, and it continues on through the hills like this, so quite large. Unfortunately, when I started building this town, I did not scope everything out completely, and in the end it turned out I am hemmed in on 3 sides by quite substantial desert. Not quite sure how to do the borders of the town. I'm not sure whether I should do walls or something else to try and cut it off, because it looks pretty bad when you've got houses and then desert right behind it, or a piece of farmland with desert right behind it. At least the walls would serve to cut, you know, have a more logical transition between the two. Right, back. Right. The next thing is my largest constructions in town. So, just over. Just waiting for stuff to load. Yeah, that's why. So this is my Globe Theatre, and if I do say so myself, it's a very good Globe Theatre. While some people's may be more accurate to the original Globe Theatre, this one is, if I say so myself, very close to the modern Globe in London, which I took the tour back in April. So, there you have it. Unfortunately, because I haven't covered this in torches, there are lots of holes thanks to the Enderman at the moment. Go up top. So, I mean, I've tried to be really meticulous for detail here, so, like, if you take a look at the pictures, it's brick, and then there's, you know, for the, what do you call them, groundlings or something, and out the back is scenery, different wool drapes as the backgrounds, that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, you can't quite achieve the level of detail that they have here, where they've got a interesting kind of scene on the ceiling there. The Enderman also likes spawning up here and moving this around, which I'd never like that. Right, and the last place in town is this, my cathedral, which I am very proud of. I built this over the course of about a week, of which about 5 days was spent solely shearing sheep to do the roof, the ceiling, and as you'll see, the carpet or floor. Well, it's not technically a carpet, it's meant to be stone, but whatever. Yeah. It's based somewhat off Bath Abbey. If you take a look at it from the front, and I'm not quite sure what the technical term for those things are, but they are there too. There is some resemblance, but after that, thanks again to the limitation of using cubes, it took on a life of its own in Minecraft. For example, I cannot do the amazing fan vaulting that Bath Abbey has. The Endermen really like trashing this place, even though I've spammed it with torches. Ah! Don't even think about it! Oh, there's two of them. Right. Oh, and there's a third one. I wonder what horrifying sounds are waiting for us when they actually give it something original. This looks quite good, like that. So, I mean, in terms of style, there is also a bit of influence from St. Mary's of Redcliffe in terms of doing the ceiling, I think. So I've got the choir, pews, pulpit. Down the back are two side chapels. On this side here is the church organ. Again, due to scale limitations, it's a bit average. I mean, there's amazing things like that piano, like that has fully functional keys and everything, but this is my church organ. Yeah, pimpin'. And on this side is the tomb of the first Steve. And in this cathedral, shocking secrets await. Oh, good. Right. In the corner is a somewhat hidden button. Ta-da! Oops. Right, a brief cut there. Something was eating all my frames. Yeah, even though I've stuck in a couple of repeaters set to max delay, it still only gives you about 1 to 2 seconds to run through. If you have a look down here, got this cool effect that you get from lava and half tiles. I hope it never goes away. I've known about it for quite a while. It's been around for quite a while, but I've never had an excuse to use it in something. But you know. So just like any church, if you have a look under one of the tombs, you'll find a portal to hell. It's kind of, you know, infecting the space or something. These would be on fire, again, if I could light a fire. Let's go all the way to the top, or some of the way. You can get up here normally. Over there, inside of the two towers, are spiral staircases. This is the church bell. And to conclude this run around my town of Halftimberedton, because I am amazingly creative in terms of naming something, we'll just get some nice views. Those two buildings there are built by one of the residents of this town. Probably said this before, but it uses the townie mod and allows you to add people's citizens. So he's built those two buildings, and they kind of fulfill the role of fort and jail, even though technically that's just meant to be his house. He's put a stone fence around it, and it looks like a, well, like a jail. Ooh, look, a dramatic sunset. You can sort of see from here the chief problem of the deserts. That's quite a huge one going out that way. I mean, I've cut it in half because it carried on all the way over here, but yeah. I mean, I could have an admin turn all of it to dirt, but then it would just be the rather grass, it would just be the burnt grass, and I'm not sure if that would look particularly good. Whee! The new lighting engine, apart from reducing lag, you know, quite substantially, does look really good at night time. These, as you've probably seen in other threads with endless people posting sunsets on top of pieces of landscape, though that's a bit weird. So that base... another brief cut there due to frame loss. This is my operations room, really. It's where I started dropping chests when I first came into this valley to start working the landscape to my will. And then I built this building around the chests, that's why it looks a wee bit chaotic. In any case, this is my room of bookmarks. Unfortunately, the mod to build these teleporters is currently broken, but the old ones work perfectly fine. Except for when you get stuck in the landscape. Take that. Funny thing about this temple, when I said at the start of this video that every time I build something nice the servers crash, well, the first server I played on was, in terms of multiplayer, was an Australian one. It was up from day one of survival multiplayer. It crashed after, you know, well, about 5 months or so, and it was very annoying because I had no screenshots of anything I'd done. When the server came back up, I built something different. I found an amazing piece of land, a valley ringed by hills going up to about 120, with a substantial piece of land in the middle, and I built an Incan civilization with terrace farming and Incan houses, and then in another valley I built a Mayan temple for some reason. But in any case, if you ever look on YouTube and just search Minecraft temple, somebody did make a video of it. When I saw this video, it had 4 views. When I rediscovered this video, it had 140,000. I was both glad that it was there to record something, and amused. In any case, I've rebuilt it, and sort of finished it off. So again, using my limited redstone abilities, ta-da, this has a spiral-shaped circuit under there that, you know, it pulls the blocks down, pulls them away, and you drop down through to the secret passage. Right, down we go. So I've built what's kind of like a Mayan eco-dome, though, well, not a dome. I've put a starry night kind of scene on the roof, and you can just casually walk on down. Originally there were 4 of these, but that made a swastika, so I made 2 instead. Yeah, I haven't really decided what I want to put down here. Maybe I'll put more like landscape scenery on the walls using wool. But for now, it is just a glorified monster spawner. Shut up. Right. Oh yeah, that is pretty much everything. Though I guess for a postscript, I can go do this. Good. The town is quite closely packed, so especially thanks to the new sprint, you can get around quite a bit of it. You know, if there were other people on the server, you could play Assassin's Creed or something and assassinate people. Nope. Oop. I suck. Ah! Sorry, a brief cut there. I did actually kill the pig with an arrow, but yeah. So I guess that's it for Halftimberedton and my video. And I hope you all saw something interesting. Maybe the video can be a source of inspiration, or you can glean a few ideas for something to build. And like I said, I am fishing for ideas in terms of medieval and, you know, 1500, 1600 type stuff to build. So feel free to comment and suggest. Oh look, a person! A person! I bet it's another moronic 12-year-old. Sometimes I have the patience to deal with, oh shit. 2 people at the same time in one day. It's a conspiracy.